Hi everybody, welcome back to our channel, LifeSnapShot. What is it, Monday the 14th, I think? 14th, about 11 a.m. here in downtown Australia. Anyway, appreciate all the support so far. Thanks everybody. Can't do it without you. But I thought I would do a quick recap on our eBay thing. It's our new little baby. And I thought I would give my 2 cents on what I think and how I think people should approach eBay. There's a couple of things that we've come across since we've been doing it. It's going on 7 weeks or something like that. Just my opinion, that's all. It's got nothing to do with eBay. It's got nothing to do with anyone else. It's just the way we've done things and the basic results, really. So a couple of things we have done. There's a sales there, $2,100 and something dollars, and 300 or 400 of that has gone just in the last couple of days. And then a couple of things came up. So we were cruising along really good, and then it just kind of went opposite to going well, so if I could put it that way. So what happened was I had a first time combination order. I never knew how to do it, so I just jumped on YouTube. Pretty self-explanatory. Thanks to all the people who do those types of videos, helped me out immensely. And I started to combine this buyer's order, and so he purchased something, didn't pay for it. He just purchased it and didn't pay, and then a day went by, and he decided to purchase something else. So then he sent me a message, first message, and this is 2 days into it, combined postage with a question mark. Oh, so that brings me to that point. I've never done this before, worked it out, no problem. Combined it, sent the invoice off. Didn't hear from him over 24 hours. From that point to the next day, a little bit deeper into the night, I sent him a message, just the invoice again, and a little message saying, hey, did you receive it? This is my first time I've done this, so if there's any issues, let me know, because I can fix it. You know, it's my first time. I think I might have done it wrong, you know, just in case. No response. Then the next day, then he decides to buy a third item, and again sends me a message, combined post, question mark. So I went back into the combined post part of eBay, and it looks pretty straightforward, and you can get it sent to your email and to double check it. And I sorted it all out. Anyway, not only did I do that, I sent the box size and a photo of it, so he knew what he was getting. Like, we're talking about HO kit models for model trains. Mate, they're 30 centimetre boxes by about 11 centimetre that by about 20 centimetres wide. They're big boxes, and I want them to get to the buyer in one piece. So he's bought 2 of those and a little packet of just bits and pieces for the HO scale. So they're all going into the same box, but I want them to get to him in one piece. So it was quite a big box, and I explained that in the comment. Sent it off to him saying, here's the size of the box. This is the reason why it was $25.05, something like that. That's Australia Post giving me that quote, not me. So I sent it off. Nothing for another 24 hours. Nothing for another 24 hours. So 48 hours. So now we're into this 5 days. It's only just got worked out yesterday. Then I've just sent another message saying, you know, do you want this stuff? And eBay makes you wait another 4 days after the initial last correspondence with the buyer. Okay, so you've got to wait another 4 days before you can say, oh, they're not interested, and relist it. So we're talking 8 days now. It would have still been just sitting there in limbo. So I sent him another message. Everything's fine. You know, is there something I can do for you? You know. No response. So late last night, he sends me a message saying, postage is too dear, I'm cancelling. All right, that's fine. You can do that. It's totally your money. You can do whatever you like, right? I get it. But in that amount of time, he'd had almost going on 72 hours. So pretty much roughly 3 days, I'm talking about daylight, not to mention the night, right? But 3 actual days to look at that and say, you know what, the postage is no good, and just send me a message back saying fine. You know, it's not, the postage is no good. Look, like I said, I make sure that the box is, you know, a lot of people put free postage because they bump up the price of the item. I don't do that. Then you know that this is how much you're paying for the item and this is how much you're paying for post. It's out of my control. So there's a couple of things there that made me realise with eBay, you're dealing with people. So when you're dealing with people, there is the expectation you have and the expectation they have. And that's just out of your control. So another thing is I've got perfect feedback, 100% all positive. And then you read them, and then there was one that was positive. It's come back, so there's a little plus sign, positive feedback. But they've put, I received the coin, everything fine. It was a coin I sent over to the UK. And everything was great, except for the fact of the duty of tax. I had to pay some tax on it. Now, that's not on me. It's up to the buyer to know what type of terms their customs has when it comes to sending something to their country. It's not up to me to know that stuff. I just send the goods, as long as they're not dangerous goods. That's pretty obvious, right? It's a coin. I knew it wasn't dangerous goods. You know, other than that, it's on the buyer to know what custom situations are in their own country. And I thought to myself, why would you put that feedback? You know, it's positive feedback, but if someone reads it, they're going to be looking at it going, oh, well, you know what I mean? Just, anyway, I appreciate everyone that has put in feedback. I'm still learning. But my advice is this. We were lucky, right? For those who've been following, I don't have my eggs in one basket when it comes to income. I spread everything out. I've got term deposits. I've invested in gold. I've invested in silver. I've got real estate. Evelyn does a little bit of part-time work down the road here. We spread everything out so that if one thing doesn't work very well, then something else is there to back it up. I've done that all my life. I don't like 9 to 5s. I don't like just depending on a job. I like to have bits and pieces, my hands in everywhere. I've even got crypto going now. So it spreads it out. And if something fails or I lose money over here, I've always got this as backup. And that's basically it. So my advice is this. eBay, it's certainly not for everybody because, like I said, you're dealing with people and the expectations are completely different. Most times they expect something that you're probably not thinking about. So do it as a side hustle. I think eBay is great that way. Don't give up your day jobs. Don't just throw everything in and say, oh, I'm just going to start an eBay business because I saw someone else on YouTube completely successful. It won't work that way. Do it as a side hustle. Do it for 6, 12 months, even longer, and just have it as a side hustle. It's great. You can incorporate it with your day-to-day life. I feel that eBay is wonderful for that. And not to mention the fact that we had a lot of stuff already here. You got to go look for stuff. You got to know what the stuff is. You got to make sure that it's going to sell. All these things are what ifs. They're not guaranteed. So we were lucky in the sense that I've got 2 deceased estates that I'm dealing with right now. One is a family one, and I've got a whole heap of vintage stuff and unbelievable what stuff I've got. Watches, gold, just old school stuff that people want. Vintage is hot right now, and I just lucked out there. Not to mention the other deceased estate that I got with the coins. So now put them on there, and if you don't have like a massive coin collection, you just throw them in envelopes. It's dirt cheap to send them, and it's pure profit. So do you know what I mean? We lucked out there, where the disadvantage of most people with starting an eBay business would be that you've got to go out and find this stuff. And you see the videos on eBay, people going to thrift stores and buying something for $1 and selling it for 35. They're way far in between. Do you know what I mean? Honestly, I feel that I've been watching some of these things, and I'm not knocking them. Look, people will go out and start an eBay business tomorrow and it'll be complete success. Yeah, sure. But for the majority of us, it will not It'll start slow. And then there's the costs involved. It's unbelievable. You got to drive everywhere. You got to park. You got to walk. You got to go in. Then you got to check. And then you've got to walk into a thrift store or an op shop store, whatever they call them, in your area, and you'll get nothing. That's a big thing. I think with eBay, people might look, oh, this DVD's only $1, and then you go and put it on eBay for $12, and you get nothing. You don't even get someone looking at it. That's going to happen. So you've got to take into consideration, you're going to have to fork out X amount of dollars for fuel, X amount of dollars for your time and getting all this stuff. Then you've got to pack it all up. You've got to put it into a system where you know where it is. And all that is going to cost you money before you make your first dollar. So you've got to put in a budget, I would say, you know, $1,000, $2,000. You got to get the racking. You got to put all the bins. Check out my other videos of what we've done here. That all costs money. Even though we had a kind of a better situation than most to start this business, it still cost us around $550 plus fuel, so say $600, just to get the racking and the bins and get the boxes and the bubble wrap and postage satchels, and we're still going to have to go and buy a whole heap more. Australia Post, I'm telling you right now, it's expensive. It is expensive. I'm not knocking Australia Post. They've got to make money. I get it. But if you don't get that right, that side of it right, then you're going to be eaten up with the postage costs. Not to mention you've got to drive there. You've got to park. You might have to pay for parking to drive there. I'm kind of lucked out there because I can drive 2 minutes down the road, and I've got an extremely rural post office. There's no one there. The guy's asleep behind the counter. You know, I can go and talk to him anytime and he can help me out. We're on a first name basis. So that's kind of an advantage, but not financial advantage. I don't get any discount. But yeah, so a couple of things. Remember that expectations of people is going to be probably different than yours. eBay is, the postage and stuff is expensive, packaging, and it's not just a go and buy stuff and sell stuff situation. You're going to have stuff that's going to sit there and you're going to wonder why. And yeah, you might have to drop the price. It might be because of the way you're presenting things on eBay, that it just doesn't look pretty enough, or do you know what I mean? It's an experience. So keep it as a side hustle. That's my advice for now. And like I said, don't depend on it. Do what we did. Spread things out. Make sure that if eBay fails tomorrow, heck, I don't care. Do you know what I mean? I've always got something else that's going to pay the bills, so to speak. So that's the reason why we tried it. All the best. Thanks for watching. Appreciate. Chuck some comments down below. Like I said before, if you're not subscribed, please consider that. That would really help our channel up. And we appreciate your time just hanging out and saying g'day. Take care. All the best. It's not what you know, it's who you know.